All right, I really apologize again for how the lesson went. We're going to do these really quickly. This was the rest of the lesson that we missed from today, Monday, or Tuesday when you guys have sixth period. So I want you guys to go ahead and try these before I do them. So pause the video right now, work on these, and when you come back, we'll work through them together. All right, so hopefully you had a moment to kind of look at these. And if you look at the first one, remember subtraction means division. So this is really going to become, in my first step, log of x squared plus 3x plus 2 all over x plus 1. That's my first step. And if you got there, then great, because that's about as far as we really learned in our lesson. But now we really need to focus on, sorry about that, really need to focus on making sure what's in the parentheses is fully simplified. So I'm going to factor this just to see if I can simplify any more. So I have log, and it's going to be x plus 2 times x plus 1 for my top quadratic all over x plus 1. And now I can see that these would cancel out, giving me just log of x plus 2. So that's my final, most simplified answer. All right. Now hopefully you remember that plus is where I have multiplication. So this would be log base 8 of 48 times 4/3, which 3 goes into 48 16 times. 16 times 4 is 64. So if you got the here, this is fantastic. We want to take it a step farther though. So remember, this was like in my last minute of my lesson. And say, can I evaluate that? What if I rewrite this in exponential form? 8 to some unknown would equal 64. Well, I know 8 squared equals 64. So this whole thing could be reduced to be just 2. Because remember, whatever my log equals, it equals the exponent. 8 squared is 64. And then last but not least, I have two operations here. So right here, this is going to represent multiplication. And here, this is going to represent division. And if you think PEMDAS, we think, well, we're just going to go in the order it goes. But a small step before that we need to talk about is, what do I do with these numbers? That's the power property. And so if you have a number multiplying out front, it's really the exponent to whatever it's a log of. So my first step might be to write it like this: log of x cubed plus log of 3x to the 4th, and all of that is squared, minus log x to the 6th. 3x to the 4th squared, that's really going to be 9x to the 8th. Sorry, you're not seeing all of that. So my next step is going to say log x cubed plus log of 9x to the 8th minus log of x to the 6th. And now this represents multiplication. And then this is division. So I go in order. I'm going to have log of x cubed times 9x to the 8th. All of that over, because here's my division, x to the 6th. Notice I didn't rewrite log, because what it is, it's everything that it's log of. So multiplication, division. So I'm not going to have an extra log for the denominator. And now I'm going to want to simplify that. So I would get on top 9x to the 11th all over x to the 6th. And that reduces to be log 9x to the 5th. Right. So pause and take notes if you need to. I'm trying to keep this video fairly short, so not to add a lot of time. So hopefully this helps a little more with your homework tonight. So here's that part, and if you didn't get the rest over here. All right, now we need to expand. So we want any multiplication, any division, any exponents to be simplified. First we have, what's going on here is multiplication between 9 and x to the 5th. So log base 3 of 9. Multiplication, remember, represents addition when we're expanding. And now the final thing I need to do is take care of that exponent. It needs to come out front. So I have log base 3 of 9 plus 5 times log base 3 of x. Log base 3 of 9 can be simplified to be just 2 plus 5 log base 3 of x. All right. Go ahead and pause and try the bottom one. All right, coming back to this is all multiplication. So first step is going to be log of x to the 4th plus log of y to the 3rd plus log of z to the -1. Power property says all those exponents must come out to the front. So I end up with 4 log x plus 3 log y minus, because this is going to be a -1, log z. All right. Pause if you need to, and then I'm going to end with some really high level stuff. So prepare your mind mentally on this. All right, this is higher level. This is our pre-calc level here. So maybe you want to stop, pause, and try this. I'm going to give a moment for you guys to do that, and then I'm going to start going through. All right, coming back, my first step would be to write my square root or my cubed root there as fractional exponents. So log base 4 of, this is really going to be 4 times x to the 2/3 all over y to the 1/2. Now I have division. And so my first step might be to separate this into log base 4 of 4x to the 2/3 minus log base 4 of y to the 1/2. Oops, I want to make sure that looks like an exponent. Now this is multiplication. 4 is being multiplied times x to the 2/3, so I need to expand that. So I get log base 4 of 4 plus log base 4 of x to the 2/3 minus log base 4 of y to the 1/2. And if at that point you also use the power property at the same time, that's fine. I'm doing each step separately. But now the last thing is those exponents need to come out front. So be really careful when you're expanding. What is the exponent attached to? Notice the 2/3 is not attached to the 4. So I'm going to simplify this as well. Log base 4 of itself is just 1. Then we're going to have 2/3 log base 4 of x minus 1/2 log base 4 of y. And these actually should have said it separately, opposite. This is expanding. This we're going to compress. So notice when I expand, I kind of work backwards from PEMDAS. So I started with any multiplication or division I had and turned that into addition, subtraction, and then I did exponents. When I expand, I'm going to follow PEMDAS, and I'm going to start moving everything it's multiplied for using the power property. So I'm going to start applying those exponents where they should go. So this is log base 2 of x to the 1/2 minus log base 2 of y to the 8th power minus log base 2 of z to the 5th power. So going in order, I'm going to have log base 2, and I'm going to put this now in square root form, or you could have left it to the 1/2. It doesn't matter. And I know that is divided right now by y to the 8th. I'm doing this just one step at a time so you guys can see what happens. And that's still minus log base 2 of z to the 5th. So now all of this is being divided by that, which all that means is if I had, let's say I had 1/2 and I want to divide it by 2, that's 1/4. So the 2 just goes to the bottom. So this is just going to join y to the 8th down there. So this is really log base 2 of the square root of x all over y to the 8th, z to the 5th. And that is my compressed version. All right, that is the end of the lesson. I hope this is helpful. What I also did not get to say is that Wednesday we have a new lesson and there's 2 videos, so make sure you watch those.